Hey everybody, Boomhauer69 here, and I'm using one of my DeWalt battery operated lights to make it my face more bright so y'all can see my ugly mug better. I'll put a link down in the description to the DeWalt light I'm using, and where I have given my thoughts on it for those who like product review videos. But yeah. I want to talk about my situation in life, because I know some people would like to hear, hey, what's this current situation right now? Well, I'm one of those guys, just a typical, paycheck to paycheck type person. And the reason why I'm so gung-ho about helping those in need and stuff, because I'm in that situation. I'm in that paycheck to paycheck. If I don't make the right moves with my money, I end up bankrupt, broke. I'm basically one foot away from ending up living in a van down by the river, like Chris Farley used to say, and and I'm at that situation. But the good thing for me is I'm slowly but surely paying this house off, getting that squared away. Because my ultimate goal is once I get this paid off, and by then YouTube will probably make me a lot more money. My goal is through YouTube is to be able to get enough money to help those in need, but also to make my life comfortable as well. Like, for example, I gotta fix up this house in the near future, and I bought a fixer-upper home that's livable, but it's a 100-year-old house, and it's gonna need repair work. So before I could spend millions and millions of dollars that I don't have on building a homeless shelter, I would first fix up the house here behind me. I'm in my garage, and I would fix it up and make it decent and livable. That's my ultimate goal. And so my goal would be on this house, because it's got an old fieldstone foundation. Put a new basement foundation, because this house actually has an old fieldstone foundation. Matter of fact, I'll show you something. This right here is the entrance to my dirt floor Michigan basement. That's what we call it here in Michigan when you live in a 100-year-old house that's got a dirt floor basement. Matter of fact, I'll show you it. I'm not going down in it. But yep, that's my 100-year-old dirt floor cobweb basement. The only thing down there is the furnace. It's over 100 years old. But yeah, my ultimate goal is when I have the money, because it's gonna take, I'd say probably maybe around $60 to maybe $70,000. I don't know what prices go for jacking up a house and putting a brand new foundation on it, but that's an old fieldstone dirt floor Michigan basement, as we call them. That's what we call them in here in Michigan. When you buy a house and somebody says, oh, it has a Michigan basement, that means it's just an old 100-year-old basement with a dirt floor, no cement floor. And so my ultimate goal is to raise the money, to have the money to be able to jack up this house like they do. They jack up the house and put a brand new foundation on it, and then on the back, in my where my kitchen is, make an addition and make this house a little bit more bigger. Because this house right now, the basement, part of it's a basement, and then the rest is just a little crawl space. And so what I would do is extend the basement out more and eliminate the little crawl space, and then also put an addition on the kitchen, which would make the basement even more bigger and stuff. So that's my ultimate goal, is to be able to put a modern style basement, and then upgrade all the utilities in this house. Where what I would do if I had the money right now, it would be, this house would be I would have a construction crew here, and they would have the whole house stripped down to the stud walls and redoing everything and bringing everything up to modernness. Because this house years ago was remodeled back in the 80s. It was from my understanding was is years ago when the church owned this, they back in the 80s to early 90s, they actually remodeled this house at one time, and it was where the pastor they had, he couldn't live in the parsonage house because they had it stripped down to the bare bones, and they remodeled this house back when they could afford to do so, and so now fast forward to 2025, it's gonna eventually someday need to have some remodeling. It's still livable. It's just one of those getting to the point where 10 years down the line, it's going to be basically this house going to be saying, hey, fix me, and so, and I would love to live in a house that has a full basement, an actual, be able to, a nice basement, because I had family members that, had the money, they built them a house, and they had them, the basements, and so, I want to be able to modernize that, because what I would do is, putting a new basement in this house, I would make that into like an apartment. Because me and my brother, we both live together, so I'd make that my own little apartment and then stuff. Because I would try to build a basement that you could basically have down in it like a 1-2 bedroom apartment setup. Where you'd have, I'd probably do like 2 rooms down there, because my goal would be is to be able to put all the utilities down there, put the service panel and the electrical service panel and the furnace, hot water heater, and all that stuff down in there. Because right now, all that's got down in there is the HVAC furnace. That's a big old giant army tank back when they made big old 4-sheet furnaces, back in the day. I imagine that's probably a 80s to 70s model furnace, one of them old boat anchor giant. If you seen the furnace, if you would have seen the furnace down there and the way that basement is set up, it makes me wonder, like, how in the heck did they get this thing down here years ago, But yeah, I would just modernize it and make kind of almost like an apartment almost down there. It's the best way I can describe what I'd kind of do, make like a man cave, rec room type setup and stuff, which that's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be just for the basement itself, probably looking at nowadays anywhere to like almost $50,000 just to even do it. But I'm no carpenter, builder. I don't know the going prices and stuff. I don't know. What it would cost to do that, but that would be my ultimate goal, is to do that, and then obviously once putting an addition onto this house on the back of it and stuff, where then you'd be looking at a new roof and all that stuff too. So a new roof, and then all the way around this house, new windows, new doors, and all that stuff. Because I'd make the basement like my little sanctuary and stuff. And yes, I do live with my brother. Me and him are both in the process of buying this house, and then we'll be in the process of fixing it up and making it livable. Now, some people would say, well, why don't we just go the cheap route and just have this house built on like a cement slab and, do stuff like that. Now, if I got the money, I'm going to go work really hard, put a full basement, full nice cemented in basement there and stuff. And not even bother with crawl spaces and stuff, it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's just do like a little crawl space big enough for fitting like an HVAC system, but I'm not even going to go that route. I'm going to try to, through YouTube, make this YouTube thing work where I got the money and be able to do all that and stuff. And it is possible, but it's going to take a while. It's just dedication and work, and if you really want to do something, you can do it, There's a will, there's a way. So yeah, that's my goal, is to fix that basement up and make it nice. And if people say, oh, you should go down that basement and do videos about it, why? All you're gonna see is 100 old furnace and be like, why? Because all you're gonna see is furnace, dirt, fieldstone, and pipes. That's all it's down there. Yeah. But yeah, that's my goal, is update that and stuff, and then whatever necessary repairs this house would need and stuff, because this house is a fixer-upper. It needs some work, but it can be done. That's one of those, yeah, I can fix it up and make it beautiful. Yeah. But that's my goal, is just simply, my goal would be just to update the basement and add a modern basement to this 100-year-old house, because I think it would be neat and cool to do. That's what is. Oh, there's this foundation. Right now, it's fine the way it is. Like, nothing's weird's happening and stuff, but I think it would just be better in the long run. It would be better just to add a more modern style basement to this house. Like, there's like nothing wrong with this foundation where it's like, oh my god, my house is gonna collapse and blah blah. No, nothing like that's happening. You know, the foundation is still in good shape and everything. You know, because I have builders in my life that's been down there, and people that work in construction, and they know foundations and stuff, and they had to look down there and say, oh, they said many times, I had people say, oh wow, this foundation is actually in good shape and stuff. And me, it's just, I want to raise up the money to actually update it and put a way better, more modern style, because I do want to add an addition onto this house, because house a little bit. Actually out back I have a little cement slab, kind of like a little patio thing, but it was, because this house is over 100 years old, and out back there's a cement slab where they used to have what they call a cistern tank. This house is so old that back in the day, at one time down in that basement, there was what they call a cistern tank, which used to collect rainwater for the house. Where back in the day they used to collect rainwater, and then they would boil it up on the stove and make it. Well, this little cement slab out back has in the center a hole that they filled in way years ago. I don't know when they took it all out and when did they backfill it in, but they filled in the hole with dirt where the cistern tank hole used to be, that would collect the rainwater, and then down in the basement go into like a little cement holding tank, whatever. And where that's at, I want to, when I have the money, to be able to bump the kitchen wall out and put it further back where that little cistern cement patio thing would be taken up. That would be dug out, and then that would be coming part of the basement, and then I'd have a big old giant basement and stuff. And so would take a lot of money to do it, but it's one of those can be done. Have faith in the Lord, and He'll guide me into getting to that point and stuff on fixing the basement. So it's gonna take money. You know, I get kind of frustrated sometimes because people say, "Well, it'd be a lot." Well, it's like, yeah, I know a lot, but what's the actual exact dollar amount and stuff? So I'm gonna, once I get this house paid off, I'm actually gonna get with building companies that do those things, like foundation companies, and look into, quotes and what do I need to reach for and stuff, And of course, by then, my YouTube channel will be making some more money, so I can take that money I make from YouTube and put it towards getting that done and stuff, But yeah, that's the only reason why I want a different base. The only reason why I want a different foundation basement is because I don't really care to have a dirt floor basement, and I want to upgrade that, That's all it is, It's just me. I want something more modern, In reality, like talking about making like a little basement with mini apartment, I probably wouldn't really bother doing that. I would just have a big giant open space basement and just put the utilities down there. What I would do is, like I said, is I'd actually build down there a mini apartment. If I had the money, I'd build a mini apartment where you'd have a living room, a kitchen, and you'd have one bedroom, then your bathroom, and then have and altogether I'd have technically 3 bedrooms, but one bedroom would be all the utilities, where I have the water tank, the furnace, the washer and dryer, like most houses do, and all the utilities and the electrical service panel and stuff. A utility room, as they call it. I'd have a utility room down there. Cause this door you see behind me, that's my laundry mud room, and I would love to have the washer and dryer down in the basement, and the hot water tank down in the basement, along with all the utilities down there. And over here on the wall, I got an electrical service panel in this garage where the electricity is. I'd love to move that all down in the basement when I had the money to do so. And then once I did all that, then it would be, when the addition completely built, then it would just be going around taking out old windows, putting new windows in, and doing whatever else, putting down new subflooring, because in this house, when they remodeled it years ago, they put that particle board stuff down for subflooring, and that definitely needs to be there's some rooms that show signs of, hey, replace it. And so I would replace all that particle board subflooring, and my goal would be to try to put some thick plywood down for subflooring like they do, but I know that can get costly. But that would be the route I would be trying to go, and stay away from chipboard, particle board subflooring, and put down some thick plywood for the subflooring, and then just after all that, just cosmetically update everything, and with an addition on the back, I would be adding more space to the upstairs as well, because this is a 2-story house, and so that way the upstairs would have more room, so the upstairs would get remodeled into whatever and stuff, and just, my goal would be just basically fix up this house and make it last another 100 years, and be able to have the money to make it the way I kind of like and stuff, and give it and just, my main goal mainly is give it a modern day basement and an addition, and that's it, not really do too much, Oh, this garage I'm in, if I was able to, there's nothing wrong with this garage, but I'd even, if I had the money, rebuild the garage and make it and newer, but more probably the reality of what I do is probably just, once that was done, maybe look into just probably maybe removing this garage, but there's nothing wrong with this garage, where I'd probably just leave it as is and stuff, but I would definitely, this garage doesn't have much electrical to it, so I would more, when I did the whole basement thing, putting the electrical down in the basement stuff, it would be to eliminate this garage, where this garage wouldn't have, all kinds of electrical to it, where in the event, if for whatever reason I decide, I don't want a garage no more, and don't want to bother after maintaining it, I could just make it easier to, take it down and go from there and stuff. But yeah, I would definitely try to also probably, if I at the end, if I felt like I had the money and I felt like I needed it, I would definitely rebuild this garage, whatever. If I had money left over and I thought, hey, I can redo the garage, then I would tear it down and have it all rebuilt and stuff, But this house is in good shape for its age. the structure and everything. Everything's good. It's one of those houses. It's got good bones to it. The bones are really good. Where it just needs a few little cosmetic updates and some modern things, a few things done to it. The subflooring in this house, everything's fine. It's just, I noticed, it's just that old particle board subflooring, and I would just upgrade that to something better. Is all I would do, is better stuff and things. And really, I think it would be cool to have a modern basement in this house and stuff. That's the only reason why I'd update the basement is because I think it'd be cool to add a modern basement. And then doing that, I would figure out how to make the basement door bigger and stuff, and a better entrance to the basement and stuff. But yeah, and the way my life is right now is I'm actually in that situation where if I'm not careful, I could potentially end up on the streets homeless and stuff, where I kind of call it, I got one foot in that situation and stuff. And so I figured, hey, if I can make it in this world and I become rich and well-to-do, I don't want to just sit back and make my life comfortable, fix up this house and put all kinds of money into it, and then and then afterwards, because once I did that, let's say I made the money to do that on YouTube. Let's say my YouTube channel made that kind of money to be able to fix up this house. After this house is fixed up, I'm gonna have buttloads of money afterwards still coming in. I'm gonna have a nice nest egg of money coming in. So, hey, God says, okay, Jesus Christ says, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let you grow a YouTube channel and fix up your house and make it beautiful and give you a better car and all this stuff. Okay, he does that for me, then you know what? In return, you do what he wants. Help out your fellow man, help out your fellow neighbor and stuff. And because then it's like, well, hey, I done all this. Like, okay. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. If you're making billions and billions of dollars a year, why are you just throwing it in a bank somewhere, some of these billionaires, they got so much money stashed away in the bank. It's like, literally, they could give somebody like me $1 billion. Some of these people that make like $20-30 billion, they could give me $1 billion and still be doing just fine, and like, I understand you gotta have money, stashed away in case something happens. Yeah, that's understandable, but to me, I feel like some people in this world are just kind of too greedy, It's like, to me, it's like, share some of that money, That's what I want to do. If I become rich and loaded with money, yeah, I'm gonna do all kinds of things on YouTube, but I'm also gonna be over here helping people out and sharing my wealth, I'm not gonna just, I got this extra $1 billion and I don't really have a need for it, instead of just, I'm just gonna throw it in the bank with what money I already got. No, go share it with people and help people out, For example, help out the community. If I became a rich billionaire overnight or whatever, and somebody says, hey, and I'm driving down the road and I see somebody living in a house like this, or a crap shack house, knock at the door and say, hey, do you need your house repaired? If I was a billionaire right now and my neighbors' houses look like they're getting to be a shanty, getting to look a little rundown, talk to them and say, hey, what's the issue? And stuff. And the only reason why I would not go the route of tearing this house down and building new and stuff is because this is a 100-year-old house and I'd like to keep the history of it, and so my goal would be is to remodel, fix this house up, and and make it kind of look like time period correct, because this was built back in the late 1800s, and so I want to keep the history. That's the reason why I want to fix up and remodel this and stuff, is to help keep the history of a 100-year house and stuff, and then try to kind of, my brother would like to do this also, is kind of go redesign it back to what it would have been, kind of like it had, like the decor of it, I should say, like the walls and stuff go with that time period correct, like crown molding and wall decor and stuff. The cosmetics of this house make the cosmetics feel like you're in a house in the 1800s, and stuff. And so yeah, there's just some things that I'd like to do, but yeah, I'm like I don't want to hog my wealth. I wouldn't want to do that, because when I, like with the little pantry there, when I know I've got the money and I can give a little, I try to restock my little pantry out there, shed and stuff, and that's been actually going really, really well. I actually, the other day, I put some of those banquet biscuit dinners in there, meal boxes, the meal kit box, those that are made by Banquet, where it's basically biscuit mix and like mashed potatoes and whatever, and some meat, that you throw in a casserole dish, and you whop it in your oven or microwave, and then after so many minutes, you got dinner. I bought three of those dinners in there, and I put them in there, and somebody, and I noticed when I made a posting about it, letting people know on social media, I made on my own personal Facebook page, I made a little post, hey, I reached out the thing, and when they wasn't, once I did that, they wasn't in there very long, because I made a public post letting people know, hey, that follow me on Facebook, that stuff, saying, hey, I put some things in there, just like that, it's gone. So that tells me there's some people out there that got fed, which was a good thing, because I like that when I put something out in that pantry, and then I go look the next day, and it's gone already. It's good, because sometimes I'll put things in there that I'm not kind of like, would this be okay to put in there, like some kind of food stuff, like the little Debbie snacks? I put some little Debbie snacks in there one day, and I'm like, well, would they be kind of all right? And I imagine and stuff, and so I know it's not too long. They going. I notice the neighborhood kids sometimes they ride their little bicycles by and they check and see what kind of snacky food's in there. Because in the past I put pop in there, and somebody else had one time in my community donated some pops, and then I even put some snacks in there, and then the little neighbor kids, they ride by, hey, there's pop snacks, and so they scoffed them up, which I don't care. I kind of comical and stuff. That's too why I made the kids corner, because children, I always feel like sometimes when it comes to like families and needs, parents and stuff, sometimes the children can get what I like to call the short end of the stick, because like I work at a store and stuff, and I seen some of the parents and children and stuff, and some parents out there will put their needs first and then their child's needs last, where I can see where some families are probably, because I've seen some moms and dads out there that strike me as the type when the going gets tough and they're down to their last can of beans and weenies, beans and weenies and stuff. They're wolfing that stuff down when the kid's holding a bowl or point and say, "May I have some?" No, you don't need that, and they're letting their kids starve and stuff, and so when I happen to be looking out my window and I see a young child riding his bike along and he checks out the pantry and he gets him a snack and a pop, I look at it, hey, that might be the only thing he got to eat that day and stuff. So that don't bother me and stuff, and then a lot of times, sometimes kids don't even get toys and stuff. So that's why I made the top part of that a little kiddie corner section, so kids can have them, get a toy and have something to play with for a while. Because not every kid out there gets nice toys and stuff, and the way the prices are for things, like, you could easily over $100 just for like certain Lego kits. When I was a kid growing up, you could, for about 20, $50, you could get yourself a pretty decent Lego build kit that you build yourself, and now they're like $80 to $100 just for one. Now, if you want a little Lego build kit for $50, you get some little rinky dinky little thing and stuff, and because I have in the past, when I got time at the store I work at, I check out the toy section and look at the toys that I used to play with, Legos, Lincoln Logs, and when I see the prices, I'm like, holy crap. And so yeah, because I'm always checking prices and stuff, so I got an idea of, hey, what is this going to cost, and stuff, so that way it better helps me in helping out those in need and educating myself of what the prices are and stuff, and even nowadays, for women, feminine products and stuff, the prices, holy crap, for things that women gotta actually need and stuff, I learned real fast, monthly products, they ain't cheap. so yeah, so that's why, I try to, when I know prices and I educate myself, that's why I try to help out those in need, because I know if I ever end up homeless or on the streets or whatever, I want people to help me out too, if I ever end up in certain situations where I need help, and so I figure, hey, right now I can kind of somewhat help people out, so I'm gonna do it, and stuff, and plus I know that's what the Lord Jesus Christ wants us to do, help out your fellow man and help out those in need, because I want to kind of change the mind of the world and stuff, and encourage others to go out there and help, and so, and at first I always thought to myself, oh, I can't help out those in need, I can't do it, and I got to thinking about it, well, do it right now, even if you ain't got the big wad of money to go out and do things. Sometimes I always have to kind of train myself. Sometimes the little things are what's more important and stuff. Even, if it's just buying a few cans of soup or beans or whatever. Even if it's only spending $5 on that little pantry, go do it, and stuff. So, because a lot of times the little thing goes a long way than the big thing and stuff. So yeah, and I know I'm in that, I kind of in that situation, so it's like I know, and so try to, get a leg up and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I know these situations, so that's why I'm always. And I know prices, and I know times are hard, so that's why I want to be the change, and encourage others to, hey, let's not be greedy, let's not be hogs and stuff. Let's help out our fellow community and our fellow man. Because I think about, like, in the Great Depression in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, when the United States was in what they call the Great Depression. That's what helped get the Great Depression, us out of the Great Depression, because everyone was willing to help out everyone, and you had your neighbors would help, your neighbors would grow some vegetables, and they would offer you up some, hey, times are hard, would you like some of our vegetables, and then you vice versa back and stuff, and I wish we would go back to those days where people would be more kind and willing to help out those in need and stuff, and so I said to myself, I know how the world is. I live it. So try to be the light in the darkness and try to help make a change. And so I know you can't help everyone. You can't change everyone, but you can. But still don't let that knock you down from helping out those in need. So that's my goal. But yeah, I know the struggles, and I know if I don't keep and maintain this house and do the right things with it, it'll become that house that ends up getting condemned, and then I'm out on the streets and stuff. So that's why I try to stay focused on, okay, I want to do this over here, do it, but don't let yourself get bankrupt. Like that's why you don't see me going out buying all these products and solar panels and all this stuff. That's why you like these go-karts and stuff over here. I don't go buy all kinds of parts for them and stuff because I don't want to. Right now I say, okay, I feel like I can't afford to do that, so I'm not gonna bankrupt myself, because if I bankrupt myself, then I'm on the streets and being the guy holding the sign, hey, we'll do anything and stuff. So yeah. So so I'm currently in that situation, so that's why when I say in my videos I understand, is because I'm there and stuff. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Not everyone's going to be the same, but I basically have a general idea of stuff, and I know if I was ever to be put in that situation or and stuff, I know what I would want and what I would need and stuff. If I became homeless, I'd want people to help me. I'd be wanting a little pantry to have access to and stuff. And so I know that, and so that's why I'm so gun ho about helping people. Now me, I can afford, food in my belly. I can afford electricity and certain things, but right now, if I had to majorly do a major like repair on this house and stuff, say I had to right now make like a $20,000 repair to this house, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't. But once I wouldn't be able to afford it because my money situation wouldn't allow it. But that's why I'm trying to focus on building up this YouTube channel, making videos and all that stuff, so I can reach that money to when I reach that point where I gotta make those big repairs and big money, I can do it. And my goal is to make enough money where I can ahead of time be able to I lost my train of thought. Be able to have the money to be able to make it, to be able to at a time fix it all up before something major happens and stuff. But yeah, I know the situation because I'm currently in it, and so I have kind of an understanding of things and stuff, and so I know what I would want and stuff if I was 100% homeless, living on the streets and living in a car. I know what I would want and need, so that's why. And like there's some, like I talked about some people. Oh, I'll say that for another video, but yeah, that's what I want. Well, I'll talk about it in this video, but yeah, I know what I would like to do and want and stuff. So the goal is to make it happen. So once I get money and I make my life comfortable, I just don't want to sit back and hog all my wealth and let and just let everyone else around me collapse. Because so many people are helping me out and stuff and gave me a home and all these things and stuff. Because there's people, the people that I'm buying this house from, they didn't have to sell me nothing. They didn't have to say, okay, here, you can buy this house for this price, Because they sold me this house for a certain price, and they didn't even have to do that. They could have said, hey, you got 30 days to get the heck out of this house and go somewhere else, and we'll sell it to somebody else and stuff. They could have done that to me, but they wasn't that people. They were those kind of people that helped me out and said, hey, we want to sell this house. We want to sell the property, the church, the house, and we're going to give you this opportunity to buy it. And so since they helped me out, what am I going to do? When I become that well-to-do person, I'm going to be over here helping them out too. Because I'm not going to, they they gave to me, I'm going to give back, and that's my whole goal and intentions was building up the YouTube channel and stuff. But right now, I got to make sure to be careful and not go out and buy all kinds of products and do product reviews and then do all this kind of this and that for YouTube, because over here, I could bankrupt myself. So that's why I pay really close attention to what it is I do and stuff. But yeah, when I talk about, I know, been there, done that. Trust me, I'm been there, done that. I got the t-shirt, and then boy do I. And I even got probably the scars of life to prove it. But yeah, that's my ultimate goal is to, on this channel, is to really focus on trying to, because once I got the money, I can help out those in need. And I know I got the money to do all the things I want to do on YouTube. I'm gonna do it. That's why I don't too much on the go-kart builds. I do got a little bit of pocket change where I might be able to in another month or so for that your style go-kart buy a nice motor for it because later on, but I'll have to recheck the budget on that. But yeah, I'm currently in that situation where, again, if I don't play my cards right, I could be on the streets or living in a car or a van down by the river or whatever and stuff. But yeah, I actually know some people that are currently, well, I don't know them, but there's some people that they're currently in that situation where they're living in a car. Some people that I got wind about and stuff, and so I want to later on try to do more for them and stuff. I talked about these people before in a previous video, and so hopefully I can build up this YouTube channel and maybe through the views of this video be able to help those people out there who are currently living in the car, because what I would like to do for those people is I don't know their current situation. Like, I can't afford to buy them a house or anything, but I would try to do is maybe if I could fit it in the budget and was able to do so, I'd probably maybe look into getting, and YouTube would allow it, where I had at least like $5,000 or $6,000 and stuff. I would make money rolling in. I'd look into try to get them like maybe a conversion van, one of those camper van conversion van thingies, and hook them up with that and stuff. Or if I knew they had family members that lived out in the country and would let them set up a camper, hook them up with a camper, or even a regular motorhome. But I don't know if they would be able to get away with parking a motorhome in a parking lot somewhere and camping out. But if I was a rich old millionaire, I would just hook them up with a regular house and say, hey, here's a house and and stuff. But realistically, I would, if I had some pocket change and I knew I could do it, look into like some sort of RV type motorhome or conversion camper van probably. And if they did have any family members that lived out in the country, hey, be able to make that happen. Then just go with a regular like 30-foot camper, one of those where they got a kitchen, living room, and stuff. Or maybe if they had a family member that would let them set up a perk model, and stuff. But yeah, because when I see homeless people and stuff, people on the street, I look at myself every day and say, if I'm not careful, I could be that and stuff. And I do get kind of wound up where people accuse all homeless people of being alcoholics, drug addicts, crackheads, when no, there's homeless people out there that don't do that stuff. There's homeless people out there that are just homeless, but they don't smoke dope, They don't drink all kinds of alcohol. They're not always mentally ill. There's every homeless person has their situation differently. So that's why when it comes to helping out the homeless and people in need, I would try to best get to know their situation and figure out what is the best option for them. And then if they say they was mentally ill, well, then I would try to get a mental health doctor to come and take them and do what they need to do to get the person the help and stuff, get them the professionals and things. But yeah. But that's why I'm so gung-ho about helping those in need, because I'm currently right now in that, on the edge, and boy howdy, I tell you, I know it, I see it, so that's why I want to be the change and make the difference. I don't want to just become the rich billionaire. Hey, look at me, all this money and and stuff, and I want to share wealth. Like, for example, if I wake up one morning and say, hey, I got enough money to go to Las Vegas or go some place cool, some place. And I wouldn't care really too much to go to Las Vegas. If I did go to Las Vegas, it would just be to check out the buffets. Because, well, big boy gotta eat. Definitely the buffets, or go someplace kind of unique or cool. Or say I had the money to go and travel, it'd be neat to be able to make, let's say, anybody want a free vacation, and bring a bunch of people along on a free vacation. And like go-karts, my goal is to, if I have the money to be able to say, hey, I can buy a go-kart and not bankrupt myself. Well, guess what? And I know I can afford it. Buy 2 go-karts. Give 1 to a friend, Or if I know, hey, I can buy 5 go-karts, Buy 5 go-karts, keep 1, give 2 a friend, if I don't already have one. And that's like my goal. Like these mopeds and e-bikes and like that little roadster thingy I made a video about one time, and them little Chinese electrical vehicles. Yeah, I would love to have the money for all that stuff, but more, I'd love to be able to have enough to where I can buy an extra one or 2, 3 and give to a friend or give to a random stranger. That's me. I don't want to just have the money where I can buy one for just me, enjoying riding, have fun. I want to be able to, have enough money to buy some other people and give them some happiness and stuff, in situations. So yeah, this video's point is just to let you all know that currently, right now, I'm kind of in that situation where I'm on the edge and gotta do right. And with me and my education and stuff, I don't have a whole lot of skills, It's hard for me to learn, comprehend certain things, Learning has always been a big issue with me, even when I was in school and stuff. I was a hard learner and stuff, and so my job, it pays the bills, but barely. Where if I didn't have my brother with me, I'd be the homeless guy living in a car and working and not getting anywhere and be super depressed and angry. But the biggest important thing is you gotta worship Jesus Christ, and you gotta follow Him and His teachings, and He'll guide me down the right path and rightness. Right now He knows what I want to do. So He's making sure I get a taste of what it's like, He's not going to let me completely collapse and fall. He's going to be like, well, okay, you want to help out those in need and stuff? He wants to make sure that I know the feeling, so that way I can, in a way be I guess you say, more humble. Humble, I guess. I'm not very good at explaining myself, and do forgive me. I always tell people all the time, I'm no professional. I'm just kind of, I guess, winging it, but yeah. But right now, the situation I'm currently in, He's wanting me to make sure I know the feeling and understand, so that way it will help me down the line to actually do what I want to do, because everybody's situation is different, but having that experience and knowledge will be good, because then you will know how to better help the people and stuff, knowing that situation, knowing that, hey, I know what it's like to have to make that decision of choosing this or that and stuff. You have a better understanding, and then when you meet somebody that says, hey, I'm homeless, this is my situation, then okay, what did I used to do in that situation when I had to make the choices and stuff, then, help, But yeah, I probably repeat myself 9 billion times like in the last video. But yeah, that's the intention that goes, Right now I can't, go out and make all kinds of cool videos like I picture fantasize in my head and stuff and daydream about, and I'd love to have the knowledge to make some of that stuff a reality and things, but that stuff costs money I don't have, so I tell myself all the time, okay, since I ain't got the money right now, just make these talk videos. And the reason why I also like doing these talk videos is when I reach that point, I'm up at the top, I'm finally where I always want to be, and then this stuff, I can look back at where I used to be, so I never forget where I came from and stuff, and so things. But yes, right now my life is kind of a struggle. I if I had more, skills, I guess, more trade skills, I'd be out there. Actually, I'd probably be out there looking for a better paying job than what I currently have for my daytime job. But I'm a little kind of weary that would start a big old war, and people would probably chew me out for that. But, well, that's kind of a whole different whatever thing. But I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, I would. When maybe I do think about it time to time, about, okay, and I do keep, but my skill level is not the greatest. Where and the daytime job I got is it's not bad, like it's not bad at all. It's just more the pay wise, it's not the greatest, and I think to myself, well, if I went out and got another job, I might end up getting the same pay rate, and then find out, oh, this job's crappy and stuff. So that's why right now I just stay where I'm at, and I say to myself, well, because one thing I do like about my job is I have the opportunity to focus on building this YouTube channel and stuff up, and so that's one reason why I like it, because my goal is I want to do YouTube for a living, and this job I currently have lets me, and I know I can still stay afloat and stuff, because once I get this house paid off, then I'll have a ton of money freed up where I can just start saving up and put it back towards this house, and then with YouTube, by then I'll have some money coming in with YouTube where I'll be able to put that money in as well and stuff, and then here and there be able to give a little more to the pantry and different things and stuff. But yeah. I lost my train of thought here, but yeah, this situation I'm currently in is just God showing me, hey, you want to help these people out? Well, I'm gonna show you a little bit so you have a better understanding, and I understand what He's doing in my life and what He's doing. He's answering my prayers, but He's doing it little at a time, and before you know what, boom, I'm going to be there and stuff. And because all this I'm doing right now on YouTube, if it wouldn't be possible without Him in my life and stuff. That's the biggest thing. You got to have Christ in your life. If you don't, you're just going to have hardship, struggle, even in the bad times. You're gonna struggle. In the good times, without Christ, it's not gonna be good, and in the bad times without Christ, it's gonna be way worse. I notice when I have a bad time in my life, Having Christ, it makes everything easier. Having Jesus Christ in my life, it makes it a lot more smoother, a lot more easier, you know. There was times when I get in a car wreck and I wreck my car, I would, without Christ in my life, I'd be all angry, pissed, stressed, where now it's like, whew, okay, that's not too bad. Well, it happens, and it was crazy. I can see where it's been a lot easier and a lot better, you know. So that's a big importance and stuff. And you know, I read in the Bible about giving tidings and helping those in need, and so I'm one of those people saying, hey Lord, you let me do this over here, then over here I'm gonna do this, you know. I will admit I'm not very good at reading the Bible and fully understanding every little verses and stuff, and I'm at that point right now where I'm like, oh, gotta read the Bible. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I should have read it, should have done this and stuff. And I'm at that point. I'm in those stages where, but in return, I figured, well, when I got the money and I know I can do it, help those in need, and that's my way of giving back to Christ, saying, okay, this is what, because it ain't like I can just, you know, automatically go walk up into heaven and go, here you go, here, you know, give to Jesus, because Jesus is going to be like, I don't want that. I got that. This is what I want you to do, you know. Because that's what I feel Jesus called me to do and calls everyone to do, is help out your fellow man, help out your people. And so I figure, okay, that's what I want to do in my way of helping out those in need and stuff, you know. And so, yeah. But yeah, so that's what I feel like, and so, because I got to thinking to myself a long time ago, yeah, it'd be fun to have all these little toys and all these stuff, but what would make it even more cooler is be able to share one with other people and say, here, you know. Like, if I right now became rich and loaded with money, I'd be at my job. I would still work for the store I work for and stuff if I could manage it where I could manage it. But manage it, I would be, you know, at my store and my fellow co-workers saying, oh, I'd be buying food for them and having, you know, a big old dinner and stuff in the break room for everybody and stuff. And because I know there's people that work there that can barely even get by, and they probably don't have a whole lot of food and stuff. So usually when I know I have a little bit of money, sometimes I will buy like a thing of cookies or donuts and stuff. And to some people, you know, that free donut, that free food, that's all they get, you know, for a meal. And I'd love to even there do more where I could, you know, go basically go in the frozen food section and buy a big old ham or turkey, and then go to the store director, here, have the kitchen staff cook this up for everyone, you know. That obviously probably wouldn't do that, but or hire like a catering service or something, and then be able to say, hey, have a catering service in the break room whipping up food and stuff, and just do a lot, you know, more and stuff. Like, yeah, I was able to fit it in my budget, but for Halloween, I actually bought some little light up, little novelty, little light up glasses, and I gave them to my what they call team leader, and gave to the team leader in my department and said, hey, here's some glasses to give out to the kids on Halloween and trick-or-treaters and stuff, because I thought that would be a nice way to, you know, give back to the community, you know, give them some families that shop, you know, shop with their little ones on Halloween an opportunity to get a little, basically I call it a novelty toy, you know, a little light up little glasses, and give them you know, a few minutes of fun and stuff. On these little glasses thingy, they're just the typical El Cheapo you buy in bulk, where they work for a few days, you know, and then by the time the kid gets sick and tired of them, that's when the little watch batteries inside them little button batteries, they always call them, but I always call them a watch battery. But one of the little button watch batteries, after a few days die off, and then by then the kids already sick and tired of it, and just chuck them in the trash. But yeah, because I thought that'd be kind of a nice thing to do. And plus, I didn't really know what kind of candy really to give out, because so many kids nowadays have food allergies and stuff, and I thought that would be better to get those, so that way the kids who have major food allergies, they at least get a little trinket or something, a little trinket toy at least and stuff. And the reason why I went out with light up glasses versus actual like little trinket novelty toys, because I didn't like what I seen there and stuff. So when I was shopping around looking at stuff online, like what would be a neat idea gift to give and stuff, and so I decided that I don't know, little novelty light up battery operated little glasses and stuff, because I thought, oh, that would be kind of neat for the kiddos and stuff, and so that way, and then plus doing that, also it helps I look at it also helps the store generate more income and stuff, because then on something like that, you might end up with at least maybe one or two customers that say, oh, that was really nice that the store did that, and it might encourage people to want to, come back and shop at that store and stuff, and then that way, in the end, the corporate makes a little more pocket change and stuff, and then it basically trickles down to where I end up getting a little more cha-ching, at the end, and stuff, where at the end I kind of get, so in some way form it comes back to me where I get a little few extra pennies in my pocket too, so, I kind of looked at it a little bit kind of too as like an investment, because I figured instead of, I said to myself, I know I can do this, so why, instead of taking a day off from my work and passing them out on Halloween, and taking a day off and losing money, why not just, just let them take them to the store and let them pass them out and stuff, and say like, here, let's pass these out and stuff, and so that's what they did and stuff, and in that way, I get to do. I got to do what I wanted to do with them anyways, and it's a win-win and stuff. Where at the end, I don't got to worry about taking a day off. And I end up making money, because yes, I do get time off from my work, like most places do. You get paid vacation time at my work, but I always try to save my paid vacation time from when I absolutely have something come up that I will absolutely 100% have to actually take a day off for and stuff, and so I don't want to use up all my vacation days, and so and I thought to myself that it's not worth it, and so in the end, I look at it on these little light up novelty glasses that I bought. Hey, I got to do what I wanted to do with them anyways, I thought it'd be a neat thing to give out, and have the store give out and give to the kiddos and bring a smile on their face and stuff, because I was thinking when I was looking at this stuff, like, well, I want to do something for Halloween for people, and so then I got to thinking, well, I got to looking at what day Halloween falls on, and like, oh yeah, I got to work that day, and then I got to thinking, well, since I got to work, why don't I do something for the store and stuff, so I got thinking, why don't I do something for the store, and also that would help out people in need. So I got to do what I wanted to do there, and I thank the Lord Jesus for letting me be able to do that. If it wasn't for Him, it wouldn't have been possible. He some way, shape, form gave me the money to be able to do it. I was allowed to fit it in my budget and stuff and be able to do it. Yeah, because I here and there, when I have the funds to do so, and I feel like, okay, this week or this month I can give a little towards helping those in need, I'm going to do it, So, yeah, it's not like I'm taking every bit of money I make and just giving away, no, because I'd be homeless on the street, I make sure, here and there to do it, and then when more money comes my way, the more I'm gonna give, and so forth, so on, and stuff. So, like, definitely, if I manage to make like billions of dollars off of YouTube, like, say I was able to make up like $3 billion off from YouTube, like, or millions of dollars. I'm gonna look at my life and say, okay, how much do I actually need to survive for the whole year? Then I'm gonna make sure I have that amount where I can survive, and then any money I get after that, be kind, share it with people, and stuff. Meet up with random, not just help out people that know me, friends, family members, but also help out a random stranger too, and stuff, and help make a difference in the community and stuff, and do things. That's why I like the store that I work at and stuff, because that's basically what the owner and CEO of this company I work for did years ago. Is the when they got when the company got a big company, they went out and did things for the community and stuff. And that's what I really like about this company, and because I'm always in when I have to do the company's training videos and stuff, and got to learn about what the store company's goal and purposes. They have the same kind of ideas of me. It's in the end to help out the person. Actually, the owner of the store is the owner of the company. The family member, that generation that started it was started years ago in the Great Depression by a guy that was a barber, and his barber business was failing because of the Great Depression. So he went to a bank, took out a loan, and said, you know what? Instead of being a barber, I'm going to open up a grocery store. And he opened up a grocery store, and then when he got retired age, he passed it down to his son, and then that guy, then the son took over, and now the grandson, then his son took over. So the guy that started it in the Great Depression, the old man, he let his son take over, and then the grandson took over, basically. And the grandson, is one of those kind giving people. They're always giving, and people who know where I work at, they know the person I'm talking about, and so I like the background of that. That's why I like working store, and that's why I thought to myself, well, if I could make it possible, and make tons of money off on YouTube, why not? Since they were help them out by staying and working for them, and if I could manage it, but since I want to do some travel videos and different things, kind of some travel videos and stuff, I know it wouldn't be possible, but I would still, one way or another, get back to them, maybe meet up with the CEO and owner, the CEO of the store, and say, hey, I'd like to, here's some money to go invest in your business and kindness and stuff, and because the company I work for, they have that same kind of mindset. The rich people up at the top, they're gung ho about helping out the community and big on doing things for the community in the state of Michigan and stuff. So yeah, and so that's what I want to do. Like I said, is give back and stuff. But yeah, this is an hour-long video. I don't know what more to say and stuff. I'm repeating myself just to try to help the algorithm and try to get some views and stuff, because I don't really have any videos really planned, because right now with my situation, I'm just focused on right now trying to pay this house off, and I don't really have any focus or mindset of like, okay, what should I do for a YouTube video this week? I don't, because I'm right now so focused on just working and paying this house off. So I decided, you know what, for now, just try to do some talk videos and stuff, and maybe a little bit and stuff. Even if I'm repeating myself, just do it to help get the views and stuff, because I feel like right now this YouTube thing is the path I need to go down to reach my goals and stuff, because right now I don't have any other like ideas of what can I do to make money to get me where I'm can put a basement and all this stuff out. So this is right now my only route I can think of that would allow me to do the things I want to do in my life and stuff. So yeah, that's why I do it. So if you like this sort of content, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you didn't like it, comment your thoughts below. And please share this video with everyone you know. That's going to help me grow the YouTube channel and get all kinds of people. I've been lately kind of slacking on trying to, advertise on Instagram and Facebook. And I got to like the firecracker under my butt and say, hey, get to doing that and get my videos out there so I can help myself to reach more people and stuff. But yeah, by you sharing these videos, man, I would really love it if you would do that. Get me out there so I can get all kinds of views and make the cha-ching and be well-to-do and stuff and things. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day. And also, that little subscribe button down there somewhere, can you hit that and subscribe to this Boomhauer 69 YouTube channel? And stuff. Help me out.